Blog Talk Radio.
Are you tired of the same old radio?
Sure am.
Need an outlet to show who you are?
Oh, yeah.
You want to hear great TV reviews and original shows?
Sounds good.
Or just new ways to keep up on the Jags?
Let's go, Jags. Woo, woo, woo.
Join us on Teal Time Radio.
The station that matters. 'Cause you matter.
Welcome to Teal Time Radio. I'm your host, C.T. Jags. Alongside of me, the beautiful Miss Chrissy.
Hey, everybody.
Joining us shortly will be Princess Mandy. Or as she likes to call
Crazy
herself.
Princess Mandy. No, I'm just kidding, Mandy. No, she's cool as anything.
What do you think? She's going to, listen to the show, afterwards and be like...
Maybe. But what are you calling me crazy for? No, she probably would laugh knowing her because she's cool as anything.
Yeah, and this is Censored, the show that there is no limits, no whole bars, no whatever. You want to call in, you want to talk about anything, feel free. I highly doubt anybody's up to call in. But if you are, you want to call in, the number is 917-889-7873. And we'd love to hear from you. Once again, it's 917-889-7873. I'm not thinking anybody's going to show up. You never know, though.
I never say never, you know?
Just to let you know, later in the week. Okay, first off, Wednesday, before we get into the show, Wednesday we've got our weekly South Beach Tow.
Yes, we do. I can't wait.
We'll see what happens tomorrow on the show, and, hopefully have our thoughts, our opinions, our discussion.
We will have all that. As soon as we watch the show, we always have it.
Yeah, we always do. And then Thursday.
What's going on for Thursday, darling?
I'm not sure what's going on. Oh yeah, happy hour.
Right.
It's our party show where we, the show that means absolutely nothing to some people and everything to others.
That's right.
We can be loud and crazy and just obnoxious or whatever. And then Friday, we are going to go live with Brittany Bouchard.
Yes, I can't wait. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm really ecstatic about it.
Like he says, she's got the voice of an angel, and boy, is Ray right. She really does have the voice of an angel.
And the body of a goddess.
I don't know. I don't judge women because I am a woman, but she is very pretty, and yes, she's a beautiful singer.
So, yeah, she's a up-and-coming country star. I said pop country star, but, it's more a country. It's definitely more a country.
But she really is. She's a great singer.
Yeah, she is absolutely phenomenal. Her voice is just can soothe the savage beast and whatnot. So we're very excited, of having that going on Friday. Then the weekend we'll probably relax, and then Monday we'll have our Do the Damn Thing show again.
That's right.
And then Tuesday we have, if not for Dreamin', great duo. They're the husband-wife, and there's another guy in the band as well. They're a great local band.
Yep.
That does have some national, indie success and whatnot.
Mhm.
And talked to him over the phone, and the guy seems absolutely fantastic. They're also big-time Bills fans. So I may get on a little football discussion going on here.
There you go.
But anyway, okay, we're going to start our show, Censored. I guess right now it's just us two.
Yep, it is.
It is what it is. And, there's a big topic I want to bring up, and I don't know if I should start the show talking about it. Yeah, why not? You know what? I'm not going to. What I am going to say is what really gets on my nerves sometimes is these people. You bend backwards for them, right? You absolutely bend backwards for them. You're willing to help them out in any way, shape, or form, and it's not good enough. Not good enough at all, and they want to complain. They want to tell supervisors. They want to say all kinds of crazy things about you and try to threaten your job and try to get you fired for absolutely no reason. And here we go. Princess Mandy has decided to join us.
Yes,
Hello.
I have.
It's crazy.
Hello, everybody.
Are you there?
I'm here.
Did you hear what I said?
No, what did you say?
I said it's crazy Princess Mandy.
Crazy Princess Mandy, yes. I have to have an insane title, otherwise it's never going to work.
That's why I had that crazy in front of it.
I have to have something. It's like, come on now. CPM in the house.
That's right.
Well, Mandy joins us for our first Censored with her.
Yep.
On our Censored show, we basically just go off the wall, talk about anything, that really bugs you and, going on in the world or just in general. Like now I'm talking about crazy people that you bend over backwards for and they turn around and things are never enough, and especially in the job range, and they want to tell your supervisor and they want to get you fired over absolutely nothing because they couldn't be a baby and get their way.
You know what, though? Wait, before you bring that up, I think we all got to give Princess Mandy a congratulations because she took a paralegal test for school, and she did good.
She got an 82.
All right, way to go.
Thank you guys. I was very excited. I was pretty sure that when I got it back, it was going to be like, hey, you suck. But when I got it back and it didn't say that, I was like, yes, I'm smart, kind of.
Realized.
Exactly. It's funny what you can accomplish when you put your mind to something.
Well, no, sometimes even if you put your mind to it, sometimes you don't think you quite got all the facts in your brain, and you're afraid that, oh my God, I'm going to take this test and I'm going to forget everything I was taught, and then you go down to do the test and it's like, oh my God, I did better than I thought,
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there's 5 more tests to go, and because I passed the first part of the course already, and now there's 5 more tests to go, I actually had to get an extension for the second part because so much is going on in my personal life that it was just really hard to stick to it and to actually give the commitment that I wanted to. So I will have an extension, and it will end in August 21st, I believe. So hopefully we will have more good grades to talk about in the next couple of weeks.
We will, because I have faith in you. You'll do good.
Okay, now we're going to officially start the show, and I'm going to talk about a topic that's really driving me bonkers.
Okay, what's driving you bonkers?
Because according to, the amendments, there's certain amendments there that I believe in.
That's right.
Like I believe in freedom of speech. Of course, don't be a dumbass about it.
Yeah.
You don't be stupid.
Anybody with it. You have the right to say what you want.
Exactly. And the biggest one that really is bugging me, I went over this the other night a little bit, okay, is the amendment that says you have the right to bear arms.
That's right.
So if the amendment states that you have the right to bear arms, okay, and you have the right to defend yourself, then why in the fuck, yes, I am going to use that word, is there a kid from West Virginia, 14 years old, got suspended and may do a year in jail over wearing an NRA shirt?
That's ridiculous. Really,
He
people?
probably didn't even buy it himself. It's probably like something a family member gave him.
His father's part of the NRA. He's
Well, there you go.
Father.
Like, whatever.
I know, really. It's not like the kid's walking around school with a loaded gun in his hand. I mean, come on, really? It's a shirt. Can't
He
be
probably thinks it's like a rap group. He's probably like, yo, I love that NRA.
But I just thought that was absolutely ridiculous. I don't think the kid should have to go through that. I don't care if he's from a small town, a big town.
Doesn't matter. What are you trying? Now you're trying to put 14-year-olds in jail? Come on, what do you people have nothing better to do than put 14-year-olds in jail? what's next? You're going to put an 8-year-old in jail? Maybe a 5-year-old?
Yes.
Hello? Really?
When is enough enough, as I stated before? It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me that a kid can't wear a shirt, with a gun on it.
That's NRA, which stands for the National Rifle Association.
Yeah, it's not like it's an illegal gang,
Right. It's not like the shirt says, fuck you, with 2 fingers sticking up, or a penis on it that says, suck my you-know-what, I mean,
he's
come
not
on.
like a Crip or a Blood. I think he's okay. I think he's just his father just likes guns.
Exactly. They're not hurting anybody. They're not bothering anybody.
But, I mean, it's getting so ridiculous that the school was saying, well, they were going to call it an act of terror. And I'm thinking to myself, why is it an act of terror? Because he wore a shirt with a gun on it? Really?
Oh, no, it's stupid.
I mean, it
Turn the
just
shirt
doesn't make
inside out.
sense. Go ahead.
Just turn the shirt inside out and call it a day.
No, why should he? Why should he have to?
I'm just saying,
why
I
should
used to get in trouble in middle school they had this big idea that if we wore certain necklaces in middle school or had colorful hair, it meant that we were part of a gang. So we were called to the principal's office and asked to, remove this stuff, and they would call our parents, and they called my mother, and my mom's like, you're calling me over my daughter having blue hair and how this is an issue. My daughter is not doing drugs. She's not drinking. She's a good student. And you're calling me and bothering me during the day about her having blue hair? Think of something more important to talk about.
Principals are ridiculous with that stupid stuff.
Hey, they call us because Nick sneezed.
Yeah. Or, no, they called me. I went one day to pick him up, and they said, they treated me like I was a criminal. Oh, well, Nick says you took him to the movies last night. I said, no, we took him over the weekend. But he said he was up till 12:30 last night. I said, no, he wasn't. Treat me like I'm a criminal. It's ain't none of your damn business what I keep my kid up till. None of your damn business. I didn't realize you were his father. I should have said to the assistant principal, I didn't know you were his father, are you? Where's my child support? Really?
I mean, it's just petty. It's just petty in my eyes. And I just think that is the worst image you could give to the United States, period. When you're saying, okay, well, you're going to suspend, or you may put a kid in jail, or a juvenile, or whatever.
A 14-year-old. Really?
A little 8th grader over wearing a shirt with a gun on it.
That's what I'm saying. What's next? You're gonna put a preschool in jail for saying "suck my dick" or something? Come on, really? I mean, let's be real here. It's an NRA shirt. Big deal.
And it is a big deal to me because it is.
No, I mean, what's the big deal to them making a big deal about it? You know what I'm saying?
To me, they're more terrorists because they're anti our Constitution, which our Constitution states you have the right to bear arms. Period.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sticking up for the kid. It's not right.
And I'm not saying I want the kid to be holding a gun and shooting things. That's not what I'm saying.
He's not walking through the school with guns. He don't have guns in his lockers. He don't have any weapons. He's just wearing a shirt. It's a damn shirt. Come on, get over yourselves.
It's the Constitution, something he's going to be taught in school anyways. So if he's going to be taught it, it's almost like practice what you preach. If you don't want him to wear it, then don't teach it.
Right. It's being hypocritical. It's being a hypocrite.
Well, it's just like I was stating a long time ago. I stated that you have a right to carry a gun. You just don't have the right to buy bullets.
You have the right to carry a gun. You don't have the right to shoot random people. Like, you can hold on to your gun if you want to, but don't just whip it out and be like, hey, I'm pissed at the world. Let me shoot up, a bunch of innocent people because, they take it and they extend the Constitution and they extend the amendments to fit what they want it to be. Well, I had the freedom of speech, and my freedom of speech said that I have the right to bear arms, and because of that, my way of speaking is by shooting people because they piss me off.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the kid is, shooting up a school. He's wearing a shirt.
We're lucky we can get kids to wear clothes nowadays.
Exactly. It's not like he's running around streaking. He's wearing a shirt.
He's not bare-ass naked running to the school going, see me? Come on. I mean, really.
I mean, I don't know the whole backstory to it. I do know when he went back to school, he wore the same shirt, which I don't blame him. I was a smart ass as a kid, and I would have done the exact same thing.
Yep.
But I see what girls are wearing now, because where I live in a development, so every couple of, every half hour, different shifts of kids from different grades will get off the bus, and I'll see these elementary school, 5th graders, and then I'll see the middle school kids, and I see the girls and what they're wearing, and I look at it, and I'm like, oh, my God, I would have been suspended from school for even thinking about wearing that kind of outfit. And what kind of image are they portraying? They don't realize that they think that they're just in style and they're cool and, oh, this is the way to look, but it's giving people, because there's so many sick and twisted people in this world, giving them such a, they're feeding into their sickness, and they don't realize it, but they are. So it's almost like I'd rather my kid wear a shirt that he has no idea what it means than for my daughter to be walking around in short shorts and a halter top at 12 exposing herself.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've seen, pairs of pants from teenagers, right, where it says, I'm juicy on their ass cheeks. And I'm like, what? I'm like, really now? You got all these pedophiles out there and you're going to freaking wear that, really?
It sucks, though, because it's like we're losing a lot of our rights because of people who are, they just don't, the world has gone bonkers, if you will, and so whereas we've always had pedophiles, now there's so many of them, and they're so prominent, and there's TV shows about them and movies about them, and it's such a big thing that it's not like when we were younger, when we could, wear whatever we wanted and nobody really paid attention to it. Now it's like a 12-year-old girl wearing a little skanky outfit, even if she looks so cute and has the body for it, there are so many twisted people who are looking at her and thinking something totally different other than that's a really cute outfit.
Yeah, exactly, and they don't realize it. Well, I mean, it's like with this kid. I know he knows what he, stands for. The right to bear arms, but in his eyes, it's the right to protect yourself. You have the right to protect yourself. That is in the Constitution. It doesn't make sense how they're gonna make it like it's, he's anti-Constitution. He's anti, United States when he's following the Constitution. He's not saying, that I'm going to go shoot up a school. He's saying that people have a right to bear arms.
But it gets lost in translation. It's like the pro-life, pro-choice debate. When people say to you, oh, you're pro-choice, you're a murderer, you're not saying I'm pro-abortion and that everybody who gets knocked up and doesn't want to have a baby should go have an abortion. No one is saying that. They're just saying, I believe that people should choose what they do with their bodies. But because narrow-minded people in society don't actually think outside of the box, they think that you're saying, well, I'm pro-choice, which means I believe in X, Y, Z. And that's the hard part, is that you can't fix stupid, and you can't fix ignorant. And there's so many ignorant people out there who will label you falsely just because they don't understand or they don't take the time to think and question and really get to know what your position on something is.
Yeah, exactly. What bothers me, it's not like the kid had, a freaking white hood and, wearing all white clothes, with the gun shirt on. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, to me, it's not a certain, against a certain race or a certain, kind of group of people. It's just a shirt. Heck, I used to wear, the shirt, that I stated before, I'm not evil, just misunderstood. That could be taken wrong. I used to wear, Budweiser stuff when I was a teenager. That could be taken wrong.
You alcoholic, you. It's a big old mess. The world is a big old mess, and it's probably going to always be like this, and it's just going to get worse because people are going to keep procreating stupid people.
Yeah, and then, telling them, yeah, you're doing a good job. It's the blind leading the freaking blind.
We have idiots all over America, and those idiots are the ones who just will raise their kids in this form of ignorance, and their kids don't even have their own thoughts. I had a friend once who I'm not friends with anymore because she is just absolutely ridiculous, but you could tell that she was raised to a point where she didn't have an original thought, and that everything that came out of her mouth or that she spewed, which to me was just all vomit, was fed to her by her family. And I think that really sucks that there are so many kids out there that are just never going to have an original thought in their entire life.
Well, it's because media brainwashes them to believe, well, this is right. If you, look a certain way, it's right. If you act a certain way, it's right. If you, drink a certain substance, it's right. I mean, you're right. People don't have thoughts anymore because, I kind of blame the Internet. I mean, I love the Internet. I think it does a lot of good things for people. You can learn more than what you originally could have, other than if you went to a library, and not everybody was a library nut. And you could do it from the comfort of your home, and you could talk to your friends and everything, but it's really taught people how to be lazy, and it's taught people how to not have social skills, and just a lot of evil has come from it. Now, I'm not saying that I want the Internet to die. If that were to happen, then, my life would be, in a way in shambles. But at the same token, there has to be some kind of balance.
But think about how easy, I look at some of the people that I grew up with, and they just pretty much followed suit with what life was about. They went to high school, either went to trade school or maybe college, got a job. It didn't matter if they really were interested in it or not. They got a job, and that was that. They got married, they had the kids, and that was that. That was the typical path. And I envy them so much because the fact that I have original thoughts, and the fact that I have to think, and the fact that somebody isn't just pulling me on a puppet string and saying, okay, you're going to do this now, and then you're going to do this, and then right after that you're going to do that. There is a certain, I'm going to make a word right now, enviability for people. When you look at it, creative people have a very hard time because we look at those people who maybe aren't so creative and do live inside more of a box, and the fact that they don't have to think. I would give anything for one day to just not have to think. Just give my bills and my work and all of my, insane thoughts and all of everything that's going on in my life, to give it to somebody else and have somebody say to me, okay, this is what you're going to do now, and this is what you're going to do with this, this is what you're going to do with that, and never have to think again. It's probably really easy, but it's very boring.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have, a mind. You don't have any control. You don't have any, direction. It's the definition of insanity, to be honest. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. It's insanity.
But it's so easy. That's the problem, is that we have come to a point in life now where easier it is, the more we want it. So instead of making things from scratch, we're going to get a mixer. There's so many things that we do now that that are so different. Back in the 50s, things were so simple. It was you had 3 choices of hair color. You had, very few choices of cereal, very few choices of everything. We have so many choices now, and it almost there's pressure in these choices. Like, if I buy the wrong cereal, will I have a heart attack? You know, like, you in the weirdest ways, there's so many. Every day we're making choices that we feel are, like, so epic and life-changing, and really, they're just not.
Yeah, it's absolutely not. Okay? It doesn't matter the kind of cereal you eat if you exercise and you do things the right way. There's a lot of different things. It doesn't matter how you dress if you present yourself in a good fashion. I mean, it's just, you got to be this way, you got to be that way, you got to. It's like, okay, let's look at the tube and whatever it says, let's just follow that. If it says let's go down the road and kill people, let's go down the road and kill people. Come on now. That's not common sense. People got to learn what common sense is and how to think for themselves. Because there's going to come a point in everybody's life where you're not going to have your silver spoon and you're not going to have people you normally depended on to depend on. You're going to be stuck by yourself, and what are you going to do then? That's how I look at things.
There's no handbook to life. Basically, you just have to follow it, and either you follow what everybody else says to do, or you choose to take the path unknown and go with what you want to. And either way, who's to say what's right, who's to say what's wrong?
Well, if some of our forefathers, took that path and, every time that they failed at something, okay, we would not have the internet, we would not have radio, radio that constantly stays on, we would not have television that constantly stays on, we would not have anything fun because there would not be electricity. Everybody can easily say, well, that, the inventor of electricity, was a great invention. But people don't know how many times, Benjamin Franklin, failed at, experiments. They don't know how many times they failed at, experiments. They don't know how many times they thought they had something right and it didn't end up right. And if they just gave up, well, then there wouldn't be somewhere. If Christopher Columbus said, okay, you're right, the world is flat, and if I take this boat, I'm going to go off the edge. Think of all the things in life that, that would have never transpired or would have transpired a lot later if people didn't take chances and go against the grain and do their own thing and say, well, screw you, I'm gonna make something of me and I'm gonna invent something or, go somewhere that other people haven't gone. And I don't believe that.
But, like, as people or as a society, from the get-go, we were a society that, starting with Christopher Columbus and probably before, we were a society of takers. We believe that everything is for us and meant for us, and that we have a sense of entitlement. And it's when you break down that sense of entitlement is when you finally become your own person and you understand what it's like to be a person in society and a functioning person. And you finally understand what it means to have struggles and to have a stressful life and to have all the insanity that goes along with it. So I really think that, like I said, we were a group of takers. We came over and we said, hey, we are taking from the Native Americans and we are going to make this ours. And we don't care if you were here first. This is ours. And that's kind of the mentality a lot of people can continue to have. Well, this is mine, so I'm going to keep it.
And I agree with that. I do agree with that. It seems like me world, fuck you.
Yep, exactly.
Type of thing. But, I mean, if people just realize the things that they could accomplish by doing their own thing and, building their own, brand or building their own, way, to make an impact in some way, shape, or form to society, to the family, or whatever it may be, they could accomplish so much. A lot of people don't know.
Too much. You're expecting too much from a society that just wants to take or wants things to be handed to them. And this isn't like a political thing, because if people try to turn it into a political thing, I will flip shit. But it's like people want things, they want it easy. The easier, the better. It's almost like they don't want to do the thinking for themselves. It's like you go on, I'm looking for a new car. I can go online. I can design my car from my bedroom and calculate it, have the computer calculate it, and do all that shit for me. And I don't even have to think. I just have to think if I can pay for the payments every month. It's like everybody has taken the guesswork out of everything. So the concept of actually having to do something and produce something on your own and keep up with that is so tedious to so many people. They would rather just go into the 9-to-5 lifestyle where somebody has a schedule set for them and they are done, and that's all they have to do. They don't want to actually think. It's just too hard.
That's very true.
I just had a rant there for a moment.
But what's sad, which a lot of people don't know, and this is true, the Egyptian temples, okay, was actually built, and this was before the thing of bulldozers and all kinds of equipment to do things from us. For thousands and thousands of years, it was built from kids playing, like they were playing freaking Legos. They were building. They were enjoying themselves. Now, if that can accomplish without the tools that we have today, imagine the things that people would actually do if they weren't so damn lazy.
I would probably be 15 pounds thinner and have a clean room. Because I'm so damn lazy. It's like, there's like the little things and the big things in life. Like, there's the big things where, like, if I wasn't so lazy, I would, I don't know. I think that I work hard enough with what I have. But, if I hadn't been so lazy at certain times, I probably would have done better in school. I would have, superseded other people. I would have, but, I mean, if I wasn't so lazy, my room would be spotless. And I would be like a Victoria's Secret model. But that is just something that I have to, like, learn in my own time, of the fact of not being lazy anymore.
Well, I mean, the thing about it, though, is anybody can change at any time. And anybody can, just snap out of, this instant gratification lifestyle, of this Madone doing the same thing over and over again every day just 'cause, and, build things for themselves and be able to accomplish so much at any point. And I'm not saying that, that I am, the spokesperson of not being lazy, because there's been many times in my life that I've been extremely lazy. I've let myself go in various areas of my life, and I know this. But the point I'm trying to make is that at any point we can wake up and we can learn how to balance things. That's the key. It's all about moderation. Yes, food is bad for you, but if you have it in moderation, it's better than if you're eating it like a glutton. Yes, video games are good for you, but if you don't go outside and play with your friends, you're not going to learn how to be, have a social life. Yes, it's easier to jump on a bus, but you don't understand the freedom of a car until you're actually in one. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. I'm down. I'm actually
So
more
anyway, we're
consumed
going
right
to change
now
the
with finding.
subject a little.
I'm more consumed with finding a song on the TV. See, that's how easy my life is. I don't even have to turn on a friggin' radio. I can turn on my TV, and I can pick a song, and it will just appear. It's like a magic.
Exactly. And it's not that technology isn't awesome. I love technology. I love cell phones. I don't like the fact that if I don't have a cell phone, I can't find a payphone anywhere, but I love cell phones. I love video games. I love all these things that make us lazy, but at the same token, you got to get out, you got to work hard, you got to do what you got to do in order to have something. Otherwise, you got this one group of people that's got everything, and you got this other group of people that ain't got shit to show for it when the life's over with. That's the thing about that. But we're gonna change topics a little. All right. So what's your verdict on The Voice here? What happened?
Okay, so it was 2 hours of utter pain. It was torture because you know damn well that the moment you turn it on, you're not going to get a resolution until the very end. To sum it up, before I tell you who actually won, to sum it up, there were a lot of great performances. You had Bruno Mars, who is amazing. You had Pitbull, who's amazing. You had Christina Aguilera, who's a slut. You had, then they brought out Cher, and I think she has become some sort of animatronic figure, but she is still Cher, so it's okay. She can totally be animatronic. Hunter Hayes was there. Bob Seger, who's like 100, was there. So you had, everybody there. So in the end, it came down to the Swan Brothers, which are a duo. Oh, they all won cars, by the way. They all won Kias. So yay for them. But so we came down to the Swan Brothers, Michelle Shamuel, who was my pick to win, and Danielle Bradbury, who was the youngest contestant. She was 16 years old. She didn't have a license yet, but now she's a brand new car. I don't get that. Well, the Swan Brothers came in third. So my friend and I, who both recapped the show for two different websites, are sitting there, and we're like, okay, so we have Michelle Shamuel and Danielle Bradbury. So Michelle has to win this. We're going to pull this one out of the ballpark. This is going to be it. This is going to be great. Danielle Bradbury won. So it shows that I don't even think it was because she's a country singer. I mean, I think that had something to do with it. I think it was the fact that she was so young and was consistent for such a long period of time that people really just respected that. I think that they knew that Michelle Shamuel, she was going to have a career regardless. I mean, she was on Team Usher. Usher has created and developed some of the most, even if they're repulsive, most insane and immense stars. So I think that that's kind of why she came in second place. And, I mean, as much as I am not a big fan of the songs that Danielle Bradbury sang, I can understand why America chose her. My friend, on the other hand, Tammy, who is actually the sports writer for Till Time, she refuses to accept that Michelle has not won, and she has just gone and purchased every single song, I think, that Michelle has ever sang on The Voice. So in her mind, Michelle has still won. She has not caught up. Her mind is about an hour behind right now. So she's still at that hopeful phase where, no, wait, they just made a mistake. Michelle's going to come out and be the winner. Like Kanye West is going to come on the stage and be like, yo, 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 Danielle Bradbury was great and all, but Michelle is really the winner. So she's not believing this. But yes, in the end, a country singer who is 16 years old, won a brand new car, a record contract, and it's also Blake Shelton's birthday. Blake Shelton was her coach. So this is his third year winning. The first year, Adam Levine won. The past 3 years, Blake Shelton has won, or past 3 seasons, Blake Shelton has won. So now we start season 5 in the fall with returning judges, Christina Aguilera and CeeLo Green, and I don't know what way it's going to go. I'm repulsed at the fact that Christina's coming back. I think she is a gross human being and the most arrogant person I've ever seen on TV, and I do not want her back on my television. But, the show has to go on, so it'll be back in the fall, and hopefully, I'm hopeful that America will pick somebody who's maybe a little bit more underground, a little bit more eclectic, and less Americana, because I think that's kind of what we need right now. We need somebody who's just out of the box. I think we stay too much in the box sometimes, and that causes us trouble.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know anything about this show, but the fact that it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me that you're going to give all that money to someone so young and a brand new car that they may just end up smashing in like 2 weeks.
You don't even know what's going to happen with it.
I mean that's nothing against young drivers, but I mean, I'm not a fan of young drivers, especially the ones learning from driving schools. I don't know what driving schools are teaching people anymore. I really don't. I see people come out of driving schools. Next thing you know, 2 weeks later they're in an accident. I'm like, yeah, great teacher there.
I would just like to inform everybody that Tammy has just texted me to let me know that she has just bought 13 of Michelle Shamuel's songs for $9.99 on iTunes. So this shows how deep this show really is. Like, she and I, we watched this show from the beginning. So for us to not get the outcome that we want, I mean, we watched it through the most boring moments and the most ridiculous crap. And for us not to get the outcome that we really wanted, we're really pissed off. And I'm accepting it because I'm like, it's a fucking TV show, and if I want to listen to Michelle Shamuel, I will buy her music. Like, I don't have to buy Daniel Bradbury's music. But Tammy is, like, so devastated right now. I think she may need counseling after this. Like, she may need to go to, like, the voice rehab.
Voice rehab? She's going to love archiving this show.
She's really, I think at this point right now, like if her phone actually worked, I'm pretty sure she'd be calling in right now and she would be stating her case on why they picked the wrong person and why, you know, we picked the right person and how much time we spent wasting our lives. Like we wasted so much of our lives for nothing and we're all upset and I'm like, you know, at this point, my heart was racing when it first happened. Like, when they were first getting ready to announce it, you get that feeling like, oh, my God, it's going to happen. What's going to happen? Oh, my God, this is so scary. This is the most scariest moment of my life. Oh, my God, I can't take it anymore. And then all of a sudden, like, they announce it, and you're like, oh, fuck. And then you're like, okay, I'm over it now, next season. Like, it's done now. But she, I think, still, like I said, she's still in the mindset that the show is not over yet, like that they're going to have to do a presidential recall. There's like hanging Chad somewhere in the America's The Voice bucket, and they need to go find them.
Yeah, but you have to understand she is a sports writer.
She is a sports writer.
That's just whole mentality. I mean, me being a Jags fan, okay, we know that we're a rebuilding team. We're not going to win the Super Bowl. But that doesn't mean game day I'm not going to expect us to win every single game. I expect it. It has to be, we have to win every game. We have to go undefeated. We cannot lose. Everybody else sucks. But that's just the football side of me. You know, when the game's on, I don't want to hear about nothing, no one, you know. That's just how it is. And, I mean, a lot of, you know, football fans will agree. You know, I'm sure there's millions of football fans, you know, guys as well as ladies, that, you know, will agree that, you know, when it comes to their team, and that's the same thing with baseball, basketball, or any kind of sport, you know, you want your team to win every time. It doesn't matter the odds. It doesn't matter if everybody's injured on the team. You want your team to win anyway, or any true fan does. Anyone that just sits back and is like, yeah, okay, well, we lost. And it was never a true fan to begin with. But, so I can understand her passion. I can understand her passion in that sense. I think that is a little overboard, but I've gone overboard with my Jags. So
I think I'm making her out to be the dramatic one at this point because I would rather her be the insane one than me. And I'd rather her have the nervous breakdown over this than me. It would saved me a lot of time and money for her to, like, spaz out over this. But also, I have been in the freelance writing industry for 3 years. I've been working for the same company on and off pretty much for 3 years doing TV recaps. I've watched the Survivors and the American Idols and all the competition shows, and I've had my heart broken more than once when I wanted somebody to win. So I think I'm kind of immune to it at this point where I'm like, yeah, that sucks, but there's nothing I can do about it. I can't change it. I voted. I did. I mean, I think if I hadn't voted, I would have been like, I wouldn't have had a reason to complain. But, you know, I voted. I did what I was supposed to do. I gave back. But at the end of the day, it's like I'm really immune to it. She just started writing in September. She came on to Three Ice Cubes as actually the sports blogger, and then turned into the assistant editor. And so she's still, I think, I want to say green in the sense that she's going to take this to heart now. Like, she hasn't quite learned that it's okay. Another season will come, and maybe you'll have your day.
It's not okay. It's not okay. When my Jags lose, it's not okay. It's the end of the fucking world. I don't care who likes it or not. I mean, that's just...
When the Saints lose, I get pissed. If the Saints don't win, I'm like, what the fuck? Do you guys not know how to rep NOLA? Like, we're tough-ass people out there. We may be, Southern and sweet, but we're tough, and we can handle shit harder than a lot of other people. And I'm like, how come you couldn't win? What is the hell is your problem? But by the same token, I'm like, and tomorrow I'll wake up and there's going to be something else going on that's going to either make me happy or piss me off.
Well, you know what it is? You dedicate your energy all over different places from what I'm understanding. And from what you're saying, as far as what she's doing, maybe she doesn't dedicate her energy that much. So it is more heartbroken or detrimental and whatnot. I'm not saying that is the case. I'm just saying hypothetical. I know.
I think it's the first show she's followed through on.
Run it by me again.
This is the first show she really followed through on with, I think, aside from Survivor, for me. She said she works for another site called Gossip and Gab, I think it's called. And so for her, this is, I think, one of the first shows that she's watched from top to bottom, like literally beginning to end. So with shows like this, you do invest a certain part of yourself into it, and you do feel it. But in the end, it's like, whatever, what happens, happens. And I just think it's cute in a way that she's getting so, like, feisty over it. It's fun. To me, it's funny. I'm like, it's just a TV show.
Yeah, you say that, but I bet as soon as you have the money, too, you're probably going to be downloading the same songs.
I've already downloaded them. Like, I'm done. My job is done. Like the songs I liked, I downloaded, and I was like, okay, I'm going to support her this way. And the way that I look at it is she's going to get a way better contract than the winner. So I look at the Chris Daughtry's in the world and the Jennifer Hudsons and people like that who didn't win, and they've come out on top, and they've succeeded. So I think about that, and I think about the track record of the people who have won The Voice, and I don't really think that they've really done all that great in the long run. I mean, not that they don't have their fans, but they're not household names unless you're a die-hard Voice fan. So I think that with her, if she just goes on the right path, she's going to get to where she has to go, and she's probably going to go a lot farther than the winner.
Exactly, because the one that comes in second or the one that comes in third will work at it harder. The one that wins it all will sit back and be like, okay, yeah, well, America loves me, and I don't have to, put that much heart and effort into it. And they'll just buy whatever I come up.
So, yeah, that's the statistics of The Voice, and thank God it's not on again till the fall because I cannot handle another heartbreak.
Yeah, I hear you. I understand what you're saying. So what other stories are really grinding your gears, or would you like to talk about?
Oh, gosh, there are so many things going on right now in this world that are just frustrating to me that I don't even think I would know where to really start at this point. One of the things that, speaking of freedom of speech, and I have to bring this out to kind of circle back to this because it's something that does kind of bother me. You drive, the town over or city over from where I live is, not the safest and it's not the best, but whatever. But there is in the kind of on the street, like the main street. Every town has a main street. You know that. Everybody has a main street. It's about failure. You have an Elm Street and a Main Street. Well, on this main street, they have a woman's clinic. And the other day I was driving by with my mom, and they're outside setting up their pro-life pictures, and they have their little kids with them. And they're doing this whole thing, this whole elaborate, this is wrong, and it's like even if you just are going to the clinic for a checkup because you can't afford to go to a regular doctor, you're inundated by these people, and I'm driving past them, and I'm getting such rage inside of me, but yet my mom reminds me, as you reminded everybody earlier, it is their right to have the freedom of speech. Is it their right to offend people? See, that's where it gets a little bit blurry. Where is that amendment? Because I think, you have the right to say how you feel. You can say, I don't believe in this. I think that this practice is not something that I would choose to do. But is it fair to say, to look at somebody as they're driving by or walking in and saying, you're a murderer and you're this and you're that? Is that really something that our forefathers thought of when they came up with the freedom of speech and the freedom to rally and all of that stuff? That's my question that I want to know. Did they think of the repercussions that would come about it? Because it's a hard decision in anything to make in your life, whether it's, there's a lot of hard choices. I can't imagine because I've had to be in that situation, but I can't imagine somebody coming up to me and saying to me that I'm a murderer and me not taking the stick that they're holding and shove it down their throat.
You have to be quiet about that, though, because if you give them ammo to take away more things, we won't have shit. But I agree. I agree with what you're saying. I agree. There has to be a line. It's like you can have freedom of speech, but go tell that officer to go fuck themselves and see what happens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You could go to a mosh pit. You can, rally how you hate this band, but jump in that mosh pit and tell their fans that you hate them. See what happens. How about this for instance? Go to a Red Sox or a Yankee game wearing the opposite shirt, right in the middle of all the other fans. Watch what happens.
Yeah, it's. I mean, the thing is that for a moment you want to stop and you want when I had to go in because I had told you guys it was a medically necessary termination. When I went in, I wanted to stop them and say, listen, I want to explain to you how hard this has been and how this is really not even my choice anymore. This is just how it is. I wanted to kind of give them an insight onto this isn't just me saying, hey, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm not thinking. Because, there are those people who are just going in there and they're not thinking. I want to kind of stop and let them know that I'm a thinking American and I'm a thinking person and I have a heart, and it isn't an easy decision to make. And as we were driving in, I remember when I was driving in with my uncle, 4 years ago, there were protesters, and my uncle was like, shut the fuck up. Go away. You're not needed. And so it makes it hard because I just wish that they would have a little bit more consideration. I respect that they have an opinion, and I think it's great that they have an opinion, but I think there is a limit to how far you push that opinion because every time I see these people out there with the signs, I'm like, they should have been aborted because they are hurting society because they are so cruel and they don't even realize how cruel they think they're doing something good. And that's the thing that bothers me is that they think that by tormenting people who are in a tough situation, they're doing something good and doing something right. And that's what bothers me.
Yeah, I understand. A lot of people don't know this about me. A lot of people know that, I did, spend some time in the streets when I was younger. What they don't know is after getting sick of, for one, I couldn't go back to my house because I was just plain old kicked out. I wasn't allowed to go back. I slept in, park benches and whatnot, but at 3 in the morning had to worry about getting robbed. Had a dude one time, I was in the mid sleeping, he tried to pull a knife on me, and that was at 3 in the morning. I said, you know what, screw that. I tried to go to sleep on, the train, going out to the city and whatnot. I would, literally pay, the price of, to go out to New York City and then take the train right back just to get some sleep. The thing is, what people don't know is that my buddy tried to get me to stay at his place. He didn't want me, sleeping just about anywhere and, coming out of like garbage cans and shit. No one understood my situation. No one understood that, I was just a misunderstood kid with a lot of anger and a lot of rage, but I wasn't trying to intentionally hurt somebody. This was past the phase of, fighting all the time. At one point, I just got sick of it. I'm like, yeah, 1 fight equals 2, 2 equals 4, 4 equals 8. It never ends. It's just not worth it anymore. So anyway, my buddy tried to get me in his house. His father was building a house, and this was, out in Devon, Milford. And he was building a house, and in the front there was no porch. There was just a dirt pile. Now, granted, I was working 2 jobs at the time. However, even though I was working 2 jobs at the time, the shelters told me there was no bed available. And, when you're working 2 jobs and making a little over minimum wage out here, even back at that time in the 90s, it was hard to go, stay at a hotel or a motel or anything. Everything was still too expensive. So I used to literally sleep in a freaking dirt pile. Okay, and cars would go by and they'd beep and they'd laugh and they did whatever and they said whatever about me. And I thought to myself, I'm like, well, you just don't know my situation. I would go to, take showers over at the Y, and it wasn't like I was stinking all the time or anything of that sort. It's just I didn't have time between 2 full-time jobs, and I literally full-time jobs, to find, a place to stay or, to be able to afford something because I felt, by the time I paid, for the hotel or the motel, I'd have hardly any money for myself to eat or anything of that sort. Plus, I was, didn't have a car at the time, so I was taking the train everywhere and the buses everywhere, and everything is expensive. And the whole thing about it is, unless you actually walk in somebody else's shoes, you really can't understand where they're coming from and what they're going through. And by, mocking them, that's not helping the situation. And it's not, it's really childish now that I think back of it. Because, so many people could have helped me, but in a sick world like you're stating, okay, and even back then it was bad, okay, people would rather beat their horns, they'd rather make fun of you, they'd rather do anything than to help somebody because they're afraid that the person, that is not in their situation like they are is automatically, a criminal or going to rob me or going to steal or going to hurt me or blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And I just thought that was absolutely garbage, and I just can't believe how there's so many people out there that are all about me, fuck you. If I have, that's fine. But if you have nothing, well, then that's your loss.
It's like, get a fucking hobby. Like, that's my theory. Like, for these people, it's like, I understand that you look at somebody on the surface and you think one thing. So you see somebody who's living on the streets or sleeping in random places or somebody walking into a women's clinic and you immediately think the absolute worst about them. You think that they're irresponsible. You think they're stupid. You think they're all these things. And certain aspects, people are there is validity to the irresponsibility or the, we all make mistakes in life, and that is just part of growing up and becoming a better person. I don't think that we should be penalized in a public venue for our mistakes. I don't think that people should come at us without actually knowing us. And I think the reason why they're scared to actually stop and say, why are you really here? Tell me your story so I can maybe understand where it's coming from, is because if they hear a different side of what happened, they might actually have to think and change their entire thought process. And God forbid they actually have to stop and think and go through and reevaluate the things that they have spent so many years preaching and telling people is right and what is wrong.
Yeah, like there has to be like one set of rules, and every other way is absolutely wrong. That's why I've never. If my aunt was listening, she would absolutely hate me, but whatever. That's why I've never been big into. How do I explain this? Without going in any kind of religion or any form of that or whatnot, I believe in a higher power. I believe in, Jesus and whatnot. Many people don't, and that's their opinion, and that's their right. I don't believe in the way that it was taught. I do believe in that if he was around here today, based on, I grew up when I was younger. I went to a lot of church, had this drilled into me, had that drilled into me, and whatnot. And I don't believe that if he was around today that he would just, turn people down like they do in churches every day. Or say, well, I can't feed you because you're not a part of my church. Or, I can't look at you and respect you because you listen to this kind of music, or you dress this kind of way, or you act this kind of way. I don't believe that. I believe that if he was around today, whether people hate me or not, if he had to, and he knew that there were people that drank, he'd go over and buy them beer to talk with them. He'd go over, buy them, smokes to talk with them. If people don't believe that, then explain to me why, in the stories, does it say that he hung out with the lowest of lows, but yet, if you look at the average, foundation or whatever, they can't do that. Explain to me. That doesn't make any sense to me. It does not at all, and I'm not going to preach because I'm not a preacher. Like I said, I'm spiritual in my own way, but I don't attend church, and I hardly ever read the Bible, and, but I do pray a lot. But that's just me. The whole point I'm trying to make in this sense is it's so easy to judge a book by its cover. It's so easy to say, well, you're this or you're that. You're cut and dry. There can't be another way. But in reality, I think, like you said, people are just scared. They're afraid to change. They're afraid to see something different. They're afraid to be the one laughed at from other people or thought of, oh, my God, is he helping him? Or I can't believe that she's going to, help that person out. Doesn't she know what she's trying to do with her baby, or whatever the case may be?
Well, I get a lot of shit a lot of times because people don't understand why I'm not going to say I don't care because that's an ignorant statement, but when they say it's illegal to burn the flag and it's anti-American, I really don't. I kind of have to disagree. I'm really indifferent in that whole situation with the whole burning the flag because I really believe that if you're that frustrated with people say, oh, if you're that frustrated with your country, then move. Well, I think that there are a lot of things that are frustrating about America. It's not about the president. It's not. It's a Congress situation, and I think there are things that we wish would have happened and still haven't. I think that people are frustrated that gay marriage isn't legalized everywhere. They're frustrated that pro-choice could be taken away. They're frustrated that there's still segregation in certain places. People are still frustrated about issues, and it's not just going to go away tomorrow. So if the only way that they can get out their frustration is by burning a flag and not hurting anybody, I mean, really, who are you hurting? You're not going someplace and shooting people. You are not lighting a church on fire. You're not burning down a temple. You're on your porch. You're lighting a flag on fire. And I think that's not that it's right, not that it's wrong. It's your personal opinion and your thing to do. Because I know that I get frustrated when I see that there are people who are in love who can't get married because they're of the same sex. Like, I just think that that's bullshit. And so for me, it's like I can understand if I was in that situation. I'm not in that situation, but if I was in that situation, I would understand why I would have a little bit of frustration towards America because I wasn't entitled to the same things that a lot of other people around me were.
And before I give my comments on that, I will tell our listening audience some of the things that other people on Teal Time Radio say I do not agree with. I come from a military background, so I really can't necessarily agree with that. However, on Teal Time Radio, everybody is entitled to their own opinion and their own thoughts, and that's what makes us unique. And and we're all held accountable for our own actions. With that being said, as far as the moving, move to a different country, who has the money to? I'd really love to. It's easy to say, well, if you don't like it here, move. But move how? I mean, the unemployment rate is getting better than it was. However, it's not going to clear up anytime soon. It's just not. The bills are not going to go down. They're just not. The bill collectors are not going to take an IOU. They're just not. Everything costs money. Everything costs, in one way or another, it's time and, it's devotion. And it's easy to say, okay, well, go to another country. But then you look at the airplane thing, okay, a visa alone costs money. Okay, but now you're going to become a citizen of another country. All right, so now you got to pay for this plane to go to another country. Okay, I thought about one time, going out to England because I got a lot of friends out in England, just to visit them. And I looked at the plane fare, and it was like $1,100, one way. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, like I really can afford $1,100 one way, and that's like the cheapest flight I've seen. Let alone if I, had second thoughts and wanted to come back. Who's really got $2, $3, $4 because you got to eat and you got to do everything else, and you also got to get harassed by the TSA, the ones that want to grope you every second, or so I've heard.
You're hoping.
Well, I've experienced. I've experienced it somewhat. Not to the degree other people have experienced it, but it's not fun. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. And the whole thing about it is it's easy to say, well, just leave. Well, who's going to give me the money to leave? Who's going to be like, okay, well, I'm going to buy your plane fare. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to give you, money for your house. I'm going to, give you money, to be able to relocate this, that, and the other. No one. You know why? Because they don't have it. It's just like the commercial that I seen a while back, which cracked me up. I seen this thing on, it seemed like a commercial to me. It was on YouTube, and it was talking about how every country was in debt to every other country. Everybody's broke. That's the reality of it. Everybody's in debt. Everybody's borrowing money they don't have from other countries that they can't pay back, and they never will pay back because they keep borrowing and borrowing, because that's the nature of, what we've taught. If we need something, go get a loan. It's easy to pay back until you actually have to do it, and then you realize the loan isn't that easy. And then if that loan doesn't work, hey, go get another loan. Go, if that doesn't work, hey, go get some credit cards to pay off that loan, and it's just a never-ending cycle.
There's always, like, an easy solution. People are always like, if you don't like what's going on in America, then leave. That's always the first answer you hear. You don't say, well, why don't you write to the government, or why don't you get involved with local political companies, or go to rallies, or do what they did in the 60s. Like, why? Nobody says that. The first thing they say is, well, then move to another country. That's how simple they think it is. And it's so true what you say, is that we can barely afford to live in America. And just because we're employed, because I'm employed and you're employed, it doesn't mean that we're making that employment doesn't equal wealth. It equals employment. And people forget that it doesn't really mean that much to just have a job, and you have to work really, really hard to get what you want. And to just leave this country, I'm just going to leave, and I'm going to go off to, I don't know, like you said, England. I had said something about England one time before, too, and, like, I can't afford, like, in reality, yeah, it's easy to say, but in reality, I can't afford to move my entire life over there just because I'm pissed off about one issue that is going on in the country that I was born and bred in.
Yeah, exactly. And how do we know when we get to the next country it's going to be any better? Regardless of what country. We can see all the flyers in the world, and we can, see all the TV shows and everything about how much it's better. But there's stories that I've heard that once you leave the tourism areas, it's really not that much better in other countries.
It's like getting an education. If you get an education, then you'll be smarter and you'll get a better job. But like you said, well, how am I supposed to pay for it? Get a loan. Well, what if you don't qualify for a loan? And it's not that easy. You're going to be paying that loan back. And my mom took out a $2,000 loan, I think, in 1969 to go to college. And because it changed collectors so many different times, it's been up to like over $10,000, and now it's they're still after her for $7,000 in 2013, and it's a never-ending cycle. But it's so easy to just say to somebody, go get a loan, go get credit, go here, go there. Well, how do you expect me to do this? Why don't you all do it for me and show me how easy it is, and then I'll follow what you do.
Yeah, exactly. It's like them people that host seminars. Yeah, it's great for you to host a seminar to say, well, I made it this way. But really all they're doing is, collecting your money, because they know in the end 98% of the people that go to the seminar ain't going to learn shit.
As long as you're not hurting anybody, like, physically, like, my feeling is as long as you're not hurting anybody physically, if you have to get your anger out somehow, as long as you're doing it, and I want to say not every way is productive. So a lot of these ways are counterproductive. But as long as you're being safe about how you take out your frustration, I don't see any problem with it, because I think that we are challenged every single day with bills and gas prices. I mean, I'm going back and forth between an SUV and a regular sedan, and it's not because I like the style of one over the other. It's because I think about gas prices, and I'm not just thinking about gas prices today or tomorrow. I'm thinking about, oh, shit, gas prices next summer are going to be, we're just $5 or $6. Am I going to be able to afford that? And that's what sucks. It's like you can't make choices anymore that are that easy, because you always have to think about the next step. Nothing is really easy. And that's, I think, another thing that's frustrating a lot of people in America. They're saying, well, we can't afford gas anymore, and why don't we move to a country where all you do is ride on mopeds, and that's how life is, or you walk everywhere. And it's not that simple. I can't just pick up all my shit and, put it on my back and say, okay, I'm going to take my 3 cats and I'm going to head out to, take my laptop and I'm going to head out to, China, and I'm just going to walk around for everywhere I go. Like, it's not that easy.
Yeah, and then people are just going to, take me in and support me. Yeah, right. They're going to be like, okay, you're a Yank. We don't want you here.
They're going to say, why didn't you do something in your own country to try to create a change? Why weren't you proactive? The first thing people ask when you go to another country, or if you ever say to somebody, like, I have a complaint about this. Well, did you vote? Did you do this? Did you do that? Did you do the research? Did you contact somebody? I mean, I've dealt with a lot of animal rights organizations. And when people say to me, well, did you do this? Did you do that? Did you do this? It's like, yes, yes, yes. I took all the necessary steps to get the resolution that I needed. And when that still didn't work, so it's like you have to take the necessary steps, I think, and you have to be a proactive person to get your voice heard. And if your voice still isn't heard, then maybe you can make more drastic measures. Yeah,
and it's what really cracks me up is the dumbasses that ruin it for everybody else. So let me put you example. I was raised when I was a kid. I came from California. I was born out in California. Came out here and lived out here throughout my whole childhood. Okay, well, when I was 18, I decided, I had things hanging over my head, and I knew if I stayed here, I was only going to get more trouble. I'm like, no. So I went down south, and I thought, I go down south, I heard that they're, the dumbest people, and they're inbreds, and they're this, and they're that. Well, that was what I was, raised from. This is what I, heard from people here. Okay, I didn't know no better. So I go down there, and think that, okay, I'm automatically going to be above everybody and everything because I'm from up north. I'm like, a king out there and whatnot. I get down there and I get a rude awakening that basically stated that that a lot of them hate people that are from around my area. And the only reason that they hate them and they hate the accent is due to the fact of there were so many that came out there and went out there and tried to control them and tried to change their lifestyle that they have every right to be pissed off and, mad at everyone that comes out because they automatically assume that everybody's going to do that because that's what a bunch of dumbasses did. So,
like Utah. If you go to Utah, people automatically think that you have 17 wives and that you're a Mormon and that you all live in a polygamous lifestyle and you wear braids and you wear dress. Well, no, that's a certain area of Utah, and that's just a certain particular part where that occurs. It's not across the board. It's very hard. Yeah, there are parts in the South where people are, close with their cousins, if you will, and family members. But that's just a small part because they say, Connecticut's the wealthiest state in the United States. Well, show me the fucking money.
Yeah, exactly. The people that have it ain't sharing. That's why they're so wealthy.
The people who are wealthy in Connecticut are the people who work in New York City.
Well, it's just like if you end up a 400 or 500 company, and this ain't knocking, 400 or 500 companies because they do pave their way, they work their ass off to get where they are, okay? But with that said, what a 400 or 500 company means to me is that they're fucking cheapskates and they're not going to pay me shit.
It's the way that we have come to think about things is just really backwards and really deformed, and we believe that either the worst or the best in people. There's no happy medium anymore, and I think that that's just a very sad situation. And I'm not telling people to, and so everybody who is out there right now thinking that, oh, crazy Princess Mandy thinks she's going to go burn every flag that she sees. I'm not trying to say that to people. I'm not condoning that. I'm not saying go burn a flag tomorrow. I'm just saying I don't get the whole dramatics over the situation because I do understand that in America, as within other countries, it's not just America specific. It's other countries too. There are injustices and people get frustrated and they have to take out their frustrations. And I'm looking at the safest way to do it without hurting anybody else. It only maybe hurting yourself at most. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm not looking at it as a, thing that everybody should go do. When I was frustrated in college, my roommate taught me that the only way to get your frustration out was to throw apples off the balcony of the apartments that we lived in.
And throwing apples is nice until you get a group of people under you, and then that would probably hurt them.
Yeah, it kind of sucks after that, and then you have to go clean it up because you're like, oh shit, the person who's running our building is going to say, oh look, there's apples everywhere. Who would have done that? And they see you with a big, basket of apples on the top floor. And you're like, it wasn't me. I swear, I'm eating these apples. They're really good. So it's just like you just try to find the simplest way to please people and to appease people, and just say, don't make such a big deal out of everything because it's really not that serious. If we keep that mantra in our head, it's really not that serious. When something really is serious, we'll know.
I hear that. And to go back, rewind a little to what I was saying, the whole Southern thing. There's many things that I learned about down south, okay, especially the areas that I lived in, whatnot. One, they're not as stupid as people think they are. Not by any means. They're some of the most intelligent people out there. There certainly are. Two, they're extremely good with money, and they prefer exact change, and it drives them nuts when you don't give them exact change. I don't know why it is, but it's just that way based on where I've lived. I'm not saying everywhere down south. I'm just saying based on areas that I've lived in. Another thing that I've learned, they're not that slow. People automatically...
They're just easygoing.
What?
They're easygoing. There's a big difference. They're just kind of like, they're not New Yorkers. New Yorkers are, okay, I got to get my umbrella as I'm holding my coffee and my laptop and talking on my BlackBerry at the same time. Now go. And they're like speed demons. Whereas down south, it's almost like, I know I have someplace to go, and I know that I have to get there at a certain time, but I'm not going to stress. I'm just going to get there when I get there and, enjoy my latte as I'm going.
And that is true as far as socially. Now, as far as work-wise, in some fields, they are not slow at all. If you're doing logs, like, for instance, my uncle... worked for a party rental place that had to, do the big old, well, that wasn't logs, but had to do the big old tents and everything. You have to be super fast to do that. I had a buddy of mine who worked for John Deere. You have to be super fast to do that stuff because they've got to meet deadlines. And unlike New York where everybody's racing, to get to work, they want you to be at work in time. If you're a few minutes late, they're not going to harp. But when it's time to work, it's not time to play, and they don't want to hear play. And especially those back in the farms, they'll put your ass to work, and they won't even think twice. You'll be so tired at the end of the day, you'll be like, I never experienced this up north. But, people automatically assume, based on what they see on Beverly, Hillbillies and, other, shows where they, get a laugh at people, that people are automatically slow and they're not hard workers. And I'm here to say that is absolute bullshit. Absolutely. And you went silent.
Sorry. I was texting as you were talking.
Well, I feel appreciative.
Well, I was just showing America how multitasking is the way to be if you live up north.
Well, that is true.
We're better multitaskers. I feel like people down south are better at, like, they can build a house in, like, an hour, which it takes us, like, 10 years. But if they have to, like, text and do more than, like, 3 things at once, it's not that it's overwhelming. It's just they don't care for it.
Well, that's true because they're spending their money in different ways. It's like out here we'll spend it on gadgets. Down there it's not that they're not spending it on gadgets, but they'd rather buy a beautiful car.
They just
because
don't care.
They can do that.
They just don't care. They want to live a lifestyle that is, as they work hard and then they rest easy. And it's very, people don't realize that, but it's true. And they also are satisfied with more menial things. Like, they don't have to have the lavish houses. They don't have to have everything so extravagant. They're happy with living in their family, country house that they grew up in that just needs repairs and spending the weekend doing the repairs and everything. They're very self-sufficient, which is something that we are not. Like, if my fridge breaks tomorrow, I can't go inside of it and fix it. Yet, if I was down south and my fridge broke, I could probably fix it.
Yeah, because you have to learn, you learn the lifestyle that it's different. Not saying that one side is better than the other. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is it's just different cultures, different ways of life, and sometimes you have to adapt, and it's not that easy.
We can learn a lot from them, and they can learn a lot from us. Like, I think that if you go down south, you can teach them a little bit of something about how to maybe be a little bit, more technologically savvy or what have you. And they can teach us how to just kind of, learn how to do things for ourselves, fend for ourselves, and not be so dependent on other people.
Yeah, exactly. And to a degree, not saying that there aren't, but if anyone takes everything to heart, then they shouldn't, listen to anything or watch anything, personally.
There's extremes and there's other extremes. I mean, there's even in every single state, there is that extreme group that has created the stereotype. That's the reason why they are the stereotype. And then there's the other mass of people who are the exact opposite, and you can have the pleasure of meeting both types, or you can have the pleasure of meeting one type. But there are the people from Boston who, are the stereotypical Bostoners, and that's just who they are. That's how they were raised. That's what their life is. But then you go to the people who are, just working and trying to make a living up there, and it's the complete opposite of the spectrum. So I think that anywhere you go, you're going to get the extreme.
Mandy, I hate to cut you off, but we actually have a visitor, and I have no idea who this is, but I'm going to put him on the spot.
Kids,
hello, welcome to Chill Time Radio.
Kids, crying kids, homeless kids, hit and run kids, broken arm kids, broken leg kids, broken head kids, sick kids, dying kids, dead kids, underfed kids, beaten kids, molested kids, lost kids, crying kids, homeless kids, hit and run kids, broken arm kids, broken leg kids, broken head kids, sick kids, dying kids, dead kids, underfed kids, beaten kids, molested kids,
am I losing my
kids,
mind?
crying kids, homeless kids.
Oh, okay, all right. Who is this, though? Seriously.
Huh?
Hey, how you doing? Welcome to Chill Time Radio.
What's going on? What's this about?
Oh, well, we host different shows. Tonight we're talking about just about everything from religion to government to you name it. On Thursdays we have our happy hour, which we talk about, partying and having a good time. Wednesdays we do our, South Beach Toe thing, and periodically we have interviews from, local bands, national bands, you name it, as well as have Jags covered.
Cool. Well, if this is an open discussion, what about talking about the police force? I mean, I've been reading a lot about just horrible things that they've been doing. Plus, I know a lot of court reporters. I've heard a lot of stories about them. And
okay.
I've even suffered child abuse. And the thing is, when I called 911, they didn't do anything about it. I mean, all they did was say it's not abuse unless they're beating you or threatening you with a shotgun or beating you with something such as a golf club or a baseball bat. I mean, really, it just seems like the police force is stupid and corrupt.
Okay, you're entitled to your opinion. I mean, how long has this been going on where you're at?
Well, I managed to escape the situation a few months ago, but it started to get really bad, and I mean, I had to live through that for almost a year.
I'm scared shitless of the police whenever they are driving behind me. I feel like they're intentionally driving behind me just to scare the crap out of me and give me, like, a minor heart attack. Like, that's just how I feel, and my boyfriend wants to be a police officer, and I've told him many, many times that they just are they're obnoxious to me because I just feel like they have no intention of pulling you over. they're just going to follow you until you are scared out of your mind. They are going to pull you over, and you're paranoid, and you're almost like pulling your car over yourself just because you're like, okay, just pull me over already.
That's exactly what they do. And, I mean, there's no real use for doing that.
It's like you find yourself turning off different streets just to see if you can get away from them, just because you know they're not really targeting you. You're looking at your speed limit. You're like, I'm going this speed limit. I'm driving in a straight line. I'm not drunk. There's nothing wrong with me. So you find yourself doing all these crazy things.
They just keep following you around, and for no good reason.
But that's just, that's the game.
Hey, do you care to share who your name, sir?
Ryan?
Nice for you to join us on Chill Time Radio. We really hope you enjoy this discussion and you join us again. Definitely.
All right, thank you.
So,
I'll listen.
No problem, man.
Again. Good luck to you, and hopefully everything that goes on in your life will be uphill from here instead of downhill.
All right, thank you. I hope so too.
Thank you.
Definitely start to get better.
Thank you for calling.
All right.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Come on anytime.
All right, thanks. Good night.
All right. Take care.
Thanks.
Okay, that was a spur of the moment thing, but that was cool. That's what it's
really
about.
Cool. It made my burning the flag statement sound so much better.
You know,
because we went from burning the flag to somebody saying like, I hate the police, and it's like, okay, well, now the heat's off me, and somebody else has a really harsh opinion, and that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, exactly. I hope I didn't disconnect them from the show, because that wasn't my intentions. I meant to put them on.
That we were just trying to get to know who he was and let him know that, we were welcoming him to the atmosphere, letting him know it was a safe place to talk to people, but that, if he ever wanted to call in again, he was more than welcome to. So if he wants to call back in 5 minutes and talk to us again about something else, it's not that we're not open to that. We're not willing to speak to him.
We're glad that, he came on,
I think you almost fell out of shock that somebody was actually listening and then called in.
No, I mean, I'm used to, people listening and whatnot. We get listeners all the time. They just normally just don't show themselves where they want to call in. I mean, one night we had, I think it was the first night that you joined us, we had 28 people listening in the background.
Well, I think it's cool that he called in, and I think it's cool that he was so vocal about how he felt, and he felt comfortable enough to say how he really felt about certain things, and I think that should be commended, because that shows that we're doing our job well, because we have created a forum where people can just come on and say how they really feel and not have any shame or guilt or feel like they're going to be bashed or somebody's going to criticize them for having an opinion, because I think the three of us have very strong opinions, and they sometimes are similar and other times can be differing. And so to have somebody come on and say, you know what, I have a strong opinion too, shows that we have made a non-threatening situation. And I think that in and of itself is, you've done the job.
Exactly. I mean, I share his, thoughts with police, to a degree the same way. I do think sometimes once you are marked, they don't leave you alone. They're kind of a bully in a way. I'm not going to say all police officers, and that's no disrespect to your old man or your young man or whatever, because everybody's got to have a career and something they love to do. I personally wouldn't go that direction, but that's only me. I do know when people are marked, they don't leave them alone. I know when I lived down south, this black cop kept on bugging me every single day. I would work for Buddy's Barbecue out in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. And when I was out there, I would go to work, and then afterwards I went to this place called Ken Joe's. And Ken Joe's is a little, like a Wawa's, or there's no Wawa's anymore. Like a Krauser's. There was, Wawa's and 7-Elevens, now Krauser. I can't even keep track of all the different name changes.
Cumberland Farms.
Yeah, the Cumberland Farms, that's it. And you know what? All I would do is sit outside and have a sandwich. I'm done with work. I would just want to relax and just sit outside, have a
Criminal.
And yeah, I know. I was a criminal for sitting outside having a sandwich. And this cop every day would ask me for my ID and ask me what I was doing there. And I was trying to be nice to him and everything. And then one day I said, you know what? I'm tired of you harassing me. And he's like, I'm not harassing you. And he started, he was going to arrest me. And then the store owner came out and said, what are you doing bugging my customer? He comes in every day. He's not bothering anybody. For one, it's, the wee hours of the morning. She didn't say we, but, the early hours of the morning. And for two, he gets a sandwich, gets his drink, and he sits outside. He's not bothering anybody.
Criminal.
It's not like he's trying to rob my store. He's outside eating a sandwich. And she said, well, you know what? If you don't get off this property and you continue harassing them, I'm going to take your badge number, and you're going to get in trouble.
I'm going to call the police on the police.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna call them, but it's a lot. Like what he was trying to say, I think was a lot like the abortion situation. We don't really know, or for that matter, anybody really doesn't know his complete. I believe his name was Ryan, correct? We don't know his backstory. We don't know his complete history. We haven't.
Yeah, we don't know if that was a cop just trying to see how we felt on police. We don't know.
We don't, but we also haven't lived in his situation, so we don't exactly know why there was a lack of response. If there was a lack of response, and also sometimes people I'm not saying that this happened, but I'm saying people do misinterpret things. Like I said, people can walk into an abortion clinic just for a checkup, and they can be looked at as a murderer. So there are so many ways to interpret things that if he had delved more into his past and made it known as to why maybe we could have maybe put pieces of a puzzle together as to why the police were so against helping him or his situation that he was in. But since we don't have all those pieces to the puzzle, we really don't know.
Even if he committed a crime, I thought in this country, you're innocent until proven guilty. I know that's not the case, but I know that's the slogan. You're innocent until proven guilty. Well, if you're innocent until proven guilty, then why do people stare and why do people automatically assume?
Because it's human nature, and I would, I will tell Ryan that if he ever wants to email us, I don't know what our email address is, but what's our email address? Okay, what is it again? TealTimeRadio at
gmail.com.
At gmail.com. So, Ryan, if you're listening, if you want to email us your story and kind of shed light onto why you feel this way and maybe what precipitated this, we would love to hear the whole story and put the puzzle pieces together and really understand what went on and whether it really was a legitimate, hatred by the police or if it was just a misunderstanding or miscommunication. We really would like to understand it because that's the part of growing and learning as people is we want to understand more. We want to learn more. We don't want to just see things for the surface value.
Yeah, and Ryan, feel free to come on anytime or bring your friends on or tell anybody you like. It's TEAL Time Radio.
And we're here to listen.
Yeah, exactly. We're here to we're just cool people.
We're just
you're
regular
cool.
people.
You're cool, my old lady's cool, I'm cool. We're all just regular people that are just trying to build a name for ourselves and, trying to let people know, hey, we're here, we're different. We're not going to downgrade you and, treat you like you're garbage like most places. For instance, when we had Jack Nichols on there, even he said, you have to go through so many loopholes normally to get an interview with anybody or anybody to actually, care who you are, unless you're like a big-time star or you got like $1 million.
Well, he was a real, we've been very fortunate that we have had in the past, we've had really just down-to-earth and appreciative people who are grateful that we recognize them. But by the same token, we're grateful that they took the time out of their day, because when you're an up-and-coming person, we all know that you don't really have that much time in your day. The fact that, Jack Nichols and Manuel took time out of their day to come and speak with us and shed a little bit of light on their careers, and even Jack Nichols turned the tables on us, which was kind of cool to, ask us questions. I appreciate that they trusted us to come on and let us and open up to us and be candid with us, especially in certain situations that I think would have been roads that they may not have wanted to travel. I mean, Manuel, he had been in jail, and he was very forthcoming about that situation. And so I think because of that makes it a little bit easier. We're easier to relate to, and people want to offer up information that they maybe wouldn't have typically given to other people, because they know we're not going to judge them, because the three of us are far from perfect. I mean, I know I'm so close to it that it hurts. But
yeah, I'm in nowhere near. If I get in heaven, it's by the shoestring. I'm certainly not sitting in the front seat.
No, you're going to be sitting outside at the table with Medea, looking at the gates.
Yes.
Give Medea a nice table out front of heaven so she can at least look in on everybody.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just get in and be like, okay, now you're standing here. And I'm like, all right, cool, I got in.
You're like, yeah, it's like getting into a concert, but then you're like general admission, and then everybody's taking up your spots. You're kind of like, okay, well, like I'm here and stuff, but where do I go now? And where's the music? And where's the free food?
Yeah, exactly. It's not funny, but at the same time, it is.
It really is. It's true.
Just like Ryan, who came on, he probably is not used to, coming on shows, but he felt he needed to express, to people what's going on.
Say, and if you have something, that's what I'm saying. Instead of doing things and complaining about it and saying, oh, just move to another country or all that crap that we had just been talking about, instead of just saying that, he stopped for a minute, and whether or not he realized it, he took a stand against something that really bothered him. He said something about it. He verbalized it, and just by verbalizing how he felt about something is the first step to maybe having some sort of action be taken.
Exactly. That's what it's about. Free roam and just the respect you get from certain people.
It's like I can sit here and complain all day. Oh, well, I need to lose some weight to put my bikini on or whatever. Which some people may say yes, some people may say no. The people who say no are my favorite people. But but it's up to me. Like I can sit here and complain as much as I want. I do complain about it, but it's up to me in the end to get up and get off my ass and do the work and put in the work and make an attempt. And I think that just by verbalizing something and actually acknowledging it, and not just verbalizing it to yourself or to a peer, but to go on to something that's bigger than you, like a radio station, and saying how you feel, is a big step towards the whole making a difference process, because there's probably a lot of people out there who feel the exact same way as he did, but just can't say it.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about, communication. It's all about, realizing that we're not here to judge, and none of us are perfect. We're not perfect, and because we're not perfect, who are we to judge? That's how I look at it. But, I mean, I've got friends in, all different fields. Like I did an interview with a buddy of mine. His name's Dom. It's on it's on our official site, which we have an official Facebook site. Yay!
Woohoo!
And and it's under the Memorial Day special. If you haven't seen it or listened to it, you definitely should. It talks about the life of a guy that went from, he was a wrestler, and he was a bit of a wild child to somebody recruiting other people into the military. It's just amazing how people's life, changes and stuff like that. It was a wonderful interview, just like when we did the BCB, which is the Bold City Brigade, which are the ticket people. for the Jacksonville Jaguars, the new stand to make, a tradition and whatnot. I love what they're doing. So, I mean, we always have cool, let me rephrase that. We're fortunate to have cool interviews and get to, interview really great people. Now, I'm sure there's going to be at some point somebody we're going to think that's cool that's going to be a total dickhead or bitch or whatever, but, I mean, we're just going to go with it,
And hopefully they have a reason for why they are such a bitch or a dickhead. Because if you're going to be an asshole, you better have a reason.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not going to, I'm going to do everything in my power not to shut anybody down as far as the way they are, but if somebody comes on the air and is constantly cussing and has no point or no valid points or any of that nature, I'm not going to tolerate that, and I'm sure, Mandy, you're not going to tolerate that either.
No, I'm going to let it be known that, this is time. This is people's precious time, and a lot of people, even if it's just 28 people or if it's 5 people, they had a choice tonight, and they listened to us, and they made the right choice. And I feel like I'm doing like a deodorant commercial, but they made the right choice to listen to us, and they deserve to get the best. They deserve to get the best out of us and out of our guests that we can possibly offer at 11 o'clock at night.
Exactly. Well, I mean, as far as archives, I mean, on this alone, and that's not even including our one where people download through, different outlets, mobile apps and shit like that. I looked up the stats on this show right here, and this month, as far as archives, we've had over 2,000 people, listening, on the back end, meaning that they couldn't catch the show but caught it the following day.
Well, have the ratings improved since Crazy Princess Mandy has joined the whole radio thing? Because I feel like they should.
Well, I mean, they're steady. I'm not going to say that, they've
You can't
improved.
lie to me.
Okay, they've quadrupled from where they were. Are you happy now?
See, now I feel better about myself. Now I can sleep at night because I was really worried about this whole situation, but now I'm not. Oh, one thing I want to mention to everybody is that tomorrow night at 10 o'clock, if you are in front of your TV or if you are not, and you have something else to watch and you have a DVR or a TiVo or whatever, even if you have a VCR still, because I do. Yes, I have a VCR, and I'm a dork, but that's okay because I am an educated dork. Hot in Cleveland with Betty White, who is like my idol, who I totally love, is going to be live tomorrow night, and it's going to be live from 10 to 10:30. So basically anything can happen, any which way. I'm going to be recapping it for my website, 3icecubes.com. And so I am very excited to see these people go live and laugh at each other and laugh at themselves and see how many mess-ups they can make, because that, to me, is where the true comedy comes in, when it's just raw and original and not overthought. So I'm super excited. So if you guys get a chance to catch that, I mean, Betty White's a legend. She's so iconic, and to be doing what she's doing at 91 and to then be going on a live show at 91, I was big enough that she did Saturday Night Live and was able to hold her own for an hour and a half. But to be able to go on and do this for a half hour, I mean, this is going to be a testament to these 4 actresses, Wendy Malick and the one from Frasier, Jane Leeves. I forgot her name for a minute because I didn't think of her name on the show, and Valerie Bertinelli. It's going to be a real testament to them. Then the X's with my friend Kristen Johnston. I can't even speak anymore. Kristen Johnston comes on at 10:30. It's a cute show. You should just catch it just for fun. And then obviously at 11 o'clock, turn your TV off and come listen to us and come talk to us. And if you get to watch Hot in Cleveland or the X's or any of the shows that we talk about, please, feel free to call in and talk about them and give us your opinions. And if you watch The Voice tonight, call tomorrow and tell me what songs you downloaded. I'm really excited to get some feedback on this.
Yes, but the first half an hour, we really need to keep it informed as far as the South Beach Toe, because that's what we do every week. So
exactly.
That
for the first half hour, I will be half dead. But then the rest of it, I'll be awake.
Come on. If you've never seen South Beach Show, it's an awesome show. It comes on at 9:30. It's on True TV. It goes on from 9:30 to 10. There's a lot going on. It's more than just a normal repo show. That's why we do both South Beach and Lizard Lake, because they're extended somewhat, so to speak.
Well, I'll watch South Beach Tow tomorrow night if I get True TV. I don't know if I get it. I'm going to check. If I get it, I will watch South Beach Tow tomorrow night. If you watch on TV Land Hot in Cleveland Live.
Hot in Cleveland, what, at like 10 o'clock?
Yeah.
I guess. Well, it depends on what time I get home. But
it's such crap.
I'll be home. Well, we watch Hot in Cleveland though. We've seen that.
Show.
I like how the lady from the what the hell is that show? The Golden Girls.
Betty White.
Yeah, she was so nice in the Golden Girls, and then she gets in Hot in Cleveland's like, yeah, fuck you.
She's an uber bitch, and she will tell it like it is, and that's what I love about her is that, you know, like I've had her on the phone before, and it's a great honor for me to say that. That to me is probably is going to go down as one of the best things that has ever happened in my life as a writer. But to have her on the phone, she's just such a genuine person. I mean, she's so down to earth.
If you could get her back, we'd appreciate it.
I would, you know what? I would love to just have her sleep over my house one night. Like, that would be cool. But I mean, I would love to have her on the phone again. I don't know when she's going to be doing another phone call or what will happen, but she's just such a genuine and nice, down-to-earth person that she's nothing like she was on the Golden Girls. She's nothing like she was in the Mary Tyler Moore Show, and she's nothing like she is on Hot in Cleveland. She's just her own person, but she plays these characters so well that she's just a phenomenal actress. She's an icon.
Oh, okay, Mandy. I think Ryan came back to join us, so let's give him some airtime. Hello again.
Hey, what's going on? Hello?
Is there anything more you wanted to add, or you just wanted to join in on the conversation?
Just kind of join in. I heard you talking about me, and I sent you an email. It's tealtimeradio@gmail.com, right?
That's correct.
All right. Well, I kind of talked about like my backstory in there. I think you find it interesting.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome that, you know, have somebody, you know, come on the show and is willing to do that. That is phenomenal. That is really kick-ass in my book. What do you think, Mandy?
Thank you.
I think it's great, and I hope that once you actually receive the email that you forward it to my email as well so that I can read it. And, I mean, I think that if we can get some stuff going, I mean, if you want to come back on the show, if you want to, you know, sit and actually do a real interview with us based on what we've read in your email, we would love to get your feedback and get to know you better as just a regular person and understand your situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and not you know, I mean, we do the interview, but we just wouldn't decriminalize yourself or anything of that sort, put yourself in harm's way.
That's fine.
Because we have the utmost respect for people who come out and just, you know, are bold in what they have to say and really just say their opinions as opposed to keeping them inside and not saying anything. I think it's a very bold move, and we respect it a lot, and that's why we want you to email us, because we want to know more. You intrigued us to make us want to know more of what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you.
So anything that we can do to
problem.
understand it.
Huh? No problem. And I was speaking before, and I was saying, I don't know if you heard me, but I was saying once you know, get popped for anything, and I don't know your situation, but I do know from people that I've, you know, that have experienced things, that, you know, cops after the first time will mark you. They'll mark you, right. And it's a form of harassment, legal harassment. And now you're a criminal, or now you're a threat to the system or society. society, and they have every right to watch you every step you go, even though that is technically an invasion of privacy.
Mhm.
But they mark that with Homeland Security or whatever, just like cameras out there and the black boxes in the cars, where they can see things on the cell phones and everything else.
Mhm.
So that's just my take on it and everything.
I definitely agree with you.
Ray likes it when people agree with him, so just nod and smile with whatever he says. Just be like, yeah, So that excites him when people actually agree with what he has to say, because most of the time I just think that what he says is just a bunch of jabber. He said something about some South Beach Toe show, and he texted it to me earlier, and I was like, we're going to South Beach and we're going to be performing live. I got all excited, and he's like, it's a TV show. So, I mean, he's in his own world.
It's a good TV show. It's about repos and shit and things that people that are tow truck dealers, drivers have to deal with, on a daily basis.
Yes, I'd like to deal you a tow truck because I'll give you a kilo of a tow truck. Yeah, that makes any sense.
Alrighty then.
That makes any sense. Any legitimate sense. I'll give you a kilo of Betty White for your kilo of your tow truck. Really, what language are you speaking?
That's an awful lot of drugs. Drugs are bad.
What was it, a DARE campaign?
you know what's funny though? This is what I always admired. You see all them truth commercials. I'm a smoker. Okay. I smoke cigarettes. I'm not gonna lie. I do. Okay. I have ADHD.
We get it. You're a smoker.
Yeah, it helps. Balance my shit and whatnot. And the whole thing is, I could just picture the people behind Truth when they're not on the air doing smoke rings, because I don't buy that bullshit. I don't buy that they're holier than thou. Okay, well if you don't smoke, you're perfect. A lot of people who didn't smoke had heart attacks and strokes. And heart attacks and strokes are caused from stress, and smoking, in my eyes, calms down stress. Not everyone's going to believe that. Some people will, some people won't, but that's my opinion, and I have a right to it.
Well, the commercials scare the crap out of me now, because it used to be the truth is 1 million people die, and I was like, okay, I'm sorry. And then now it's the lady with no limbs and the person with no voice, and now I'm paranoid, because I'm thinking, oh my God, I've done irreversible damage to my body over the past 17 years, and I will never get it back, and I'm going to lose my fingers, I'm going to lose my nose, and I'm going to go bald, and I've now developed a level of paranoia that I started smoking natural spirits just because I thought that it was the healthier way to try to quit smoking, and it's just, I think I've been worked by society. Again, I'm an infomercial watcher, Ryan. I don't know if you're an infomercial watcher, but in the middle of the night when I have insomnia, I watch every single infomercial, and I think that every single product I see is going to somehow benefit me in the long run, even though it's probably all crap.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I wanted to add, people are so easy to judge and say, well, if you smoke cigarettes, you're such a bad person, and if you're such a bad person, or whatever the case may be. Ignore that, because we can go over that. They're not going to shut us off in exactly 90 seconds. They never do.
The British lady who thinks she's going to turn us off and doesn't? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they will after a certain amount of time, but they let you go overboard. Technically, I think we can go up to 3 hours if we wanted to. I'm not going to, but we could if we wanted to.
I don't personally feel like staying up until 2 in the morning talking about losing my limbs to smoking. So Ryan, tell us, what are your plans for this evening? Did you have any plans for this evening? Do you have any plans for the upcoming weekend? What is going on with you this week?
Well, this week I'm just hanging out. This week we're finally finishing up school. This week's our last week.
That's cool. And what grade are you in?
I'm a sophomore.
Oh, so you're going to be a junior?
Mhm.
Are you excited for that upperclassman, I can kick anybody's ass mentally, feeling?
Not really. I've heard junior year's a bitch.
It's really not that bad. I went through it. It's not that bad. It's senior year that's kind of annoying because it's like you kind of feel like you could have done so many things different, but then you don't want to leave your friends, but then there's all that pressure to go to college and do all that stuff, and you're just like, I don't know which way is up anymore.
Ish.
But just enjoy it. Enjoy the time that you have in high school because it ends so fast. So just enjoy it, have fun, and live it up. Be safe, live it up.
Yeah. At the beginning of the show, I don't know how long you've been listening, man, but at the beginning of the show, I was talking about the kid, the 14-year-old or whatever that's getting suspended and might do a year in jail time due to the fact he wore an NRA shirt, which makes no sense to me.
A what shirt?
An NRA.
National Rifle Association.
Well, that's completely crazy because I have friends that'll wear jackets that have multiple weapons drawn on them, and they never got in trouble at all.
Exactly. It's absolutely ludicrous. It's the most moronic thing I've ever heard of in my life. And it's also, a violation of our Constitution in my eyes because, our amendment says that we have the right to bear arms, so therefore people have the right to fucking wear a shirt that says that their family members bears arms to protect themselves.
Mhm.
That's just my opinion on it.
Well, I think, I like skull shirts and I like crosses, but in no way am I a religious person and in no way do I worship Satan. So it's like I could go around in a skull T-shirt and people will think, oh, my gosh, she's so badass. And it's like I just like the style of the shirt. Like, it's not that deep.
Mhm. Sometimes things like that are just absolutely crazy. Besides the kid wearing a gun on his shirt, do you hear about the kid who got suspended for biting a Pop-Tart into a gun shape?
Are you serious? This is just getting ridiculous. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want any kids to go up and shoot schools. That's not what we're saying. But we're saying just because somebody wears a shirt doesn't mean that they're going to do it.
Mhm. And just because some kid bites a Pop-Tart doesn't mean they should get suspended for it.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous because that happened on an episode of Roseanne where DJ bit his Pop-Tart into the shape of a gun. He's like, look, I bit my Pop-Tart into the shape of a gun. So how do we know that kid didn't just see that episode before he came to school and was like, hey, I wonder if I could bite my Pop-Tart into a gun? Like the smoke rings thing. So how many times have we practiced smoke rings and failed epically?
Yeah, it's like people when they said, people are automatically going to commit violent crimes because they play Grand Theft Auto.
Exactly.
I never seen Grand Theft Auto show you how to load a gun. Teach you how to load a gun the proper way.
Mhm.
There's too much. It's just I have had enough of people, and I'm a very social person, but I always say that I don't like people and I don't like working, but I have a job and I'm very social. So I am the antithesis of what I say I am. But in reality, I just don't like people because I think that everybody in the world is just, if they don't agree with me, then then I just don't like them. That's just that's the reality of it. If you don't agree with me, I just don't like you. I'm not saying I'm not going to be your friend.
Well, no wonder why they call you Princess Mandy.
Listen, I am a princess, and I don't have a physical crown right now, but that's because I'm waiting for my grills to come in first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have to have my grills first, and then I can have my tiara. And oh my God, Betty White's on TV. I'm going to have a Betty White-gasm.
All righty then. I mean, just
really.
People,
I'm odd.
just people in general get, just stupidity. It's just a bunch of stupidity. For instance, we had a horrific event that happened out here in Connecticut and whatnot. And the thing is, it wasn't right, that kids got killed and everything, and I'm not happy about it at all. But when you're going to strengthen gun laws in Connecticut, but the guy wasn't even from Connecticut and was from Jersey, how does that make any damn sense? It doesn't make sense to me.
I'm sick of all this gun talk because the truth of it is that guns don't kill people. People with guns kill people.
Mhm.
Pencils don't write themselves. People with pencils write. Like, it's just
You should
stupid.
tag that and put that on a shirt, the pencil one.
Like, seriously, laptops don't just randomly type. People have to type on them. There are so many things. It's like, my toaster doesn't just make my toast. I have to put the toaster on to make the toast. I have to have the toast first. I don't even have toast. Now I'm kind of pissed.
You don't have toast?
I don't have toast, and I want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich now. I don't have toast.
It's too bad we don't have commercials. If we had advertisements and whatnot, you could come up with the funniest shit.
I would end up with a shitload of toast. That's all I know. And, like, some tiaras and a couple sets of grills. I can almost guarantee that.
Yeah, exactly.
I love toast. I'm very upset, actually, guys. I have to tell you guys I'm upset. I got I've suddenly turned British because I feel like I might have to move to Britain. I got a box.
Well, you can't afford to, so it don't matter. We've already talked about this.
Yes, well, I got a box of Lucky Charms, okay? And inside of it was a little minion from Despicable Me 2. And
okay.
I am so blonde that I threw out the box and forgot to take out my little minion. So now there's a minion in the garbage, and I'm really upset. It's like irreplaceable now. I have to buy another box of Lucky Charms. General Mills, if you're out there, send me a minion.
Sure, General Mills doesn't give a shit about sending you a minion, but anyway.
Listen, I want my minion back. I'm like trying to figure out which garbage bag it's in my house so that I can like get it back. I'm like that hardcore about my minion. It's like a thing. It's almost like losing a diamond ring. Like you're gonna search everywhere just to find that diamond ring because you have to have it. I have to have my minion.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Well, I just wanted to share with Ryan. I wanted to tell him, just enjoy, your school years. Like she was saying, when it's over with, real life happens, and real life fucking sucks. But when you're in school, make the most out of it and shit, and just, try to build the best relationships you can, and try to find real relationships, because half the fucking people are just fake anyway. That's just my opinion, and if I stayed more in school and stopped worried about eating lunch and goofing off and shit, I probably, would have enjoyed my, high school years more instead of getting suspended and kicked out of schools.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have fun. You'll have fun in the real world, though. Like, I mean, the real world is challenging, but it's a challenge that is almost like, can I do it? And it's you against the world. And when you can actually go up against the world and win, it's a really good feeling. That's the only time being an adult does it suck. Plus, you get to eat ice cream for breakfast.
Ice cream for breakfast, huh?
That's another cool thing about being an adult is that you get to eat ice cream for breakfast, and then you also get excited over really weird things. Like I finally met my deductible for my health insurance, and now all my medication and doctor's visits are free. So I'm like really excited about that. So that's how you know that you're an adult, when you get excited about the fact that you don't have to pay for your medication and your doctor's visits anymore. Like that's pathetic.
And just enjoy, being a, older, I mean, the transition period of, growing up and, being, having things. Because I remember when I was young, when I was, 16, I couldn't wait to, I turned, 18, to legally smoke, and then I turned 21 to legally drink. And then I was able to vote, and then I chose not to vote, And I was able to rent a car, but growing up ain't all that fucking cracked up to be. It really ain't.
I was able to have a Minion, but I threw it away.
When did your fucking Minion come in this conversation?
I'm upset about it.
I thought we left the Minion talk.
I'm kind of upset.
I got upset when I was freaking playing Borderlands and Claptrap. You probably don't know who that is. This robot guy goes.
No, I play Borderlands. I know Claptrap.
Yeah. Claptrap goes, "Come here, minions. You are my minions."
Claptrap sounds like some sort of STD you would get from the beach. I went to the Jersey Shore and came back with Claptrap. Okay, great. Is there a steroid for that or something? How do I get rid of this? But you know what? The one thing that you need to do in high school is work really hard. I will say that because if you don't like the situation that you're living in or the lifestyle that you have been given at your age right now, you still have time to fix any mistakes that you made in your freshman and sophomore year. So you go in and you work really hard in your junior year, you work hard at the beginning of your senior year, and then you could actually write your ticket to wherever you want to go someplace else. So if you decide that, you know what, I kind of want to go to college, but I want to go someplace else, I want to go far away. I went away to school in New Orleans when I was 17, and so I basically wrote my own ticket out of Connecticut. So then I came back. Because apparently I got on the wrong plane. But I think that if you really want to change your life or change your situation, education is the best way, because then you'll get, you'll have more opportunities that will be handed to you as opposed to having to work super, super hard for them.
Yeah, and if you get the opportunity to go somewhere and experience something new, always take it. If I didn't get the opportunity to move down south, I wouldn't be the person I am today. Out here down up north, taught me so many valuable things, but when I lived down south, it taught me how to laugh and how to have a good time. Where out here, you're just all about me being mean and just, mad at the world and shit. And now I can actually laugh and have a good time and not have to worry about shit as much. So if you get the opportunity to go somewhere, I'm always one to say, give it a try. If it don't work out, then fuck it. At least you tried. It's better to try than not the chance and always wondering, well, what if?
There's so many colleges out there where you don't have to be a super genius to get in, and you can get scholarships and grants and all that kind of stuff, and you could actually change your life. So whatever happened in your past, you take that, you internalize it, you learn from it, and then you decide what way you want to go. Do you want to stay trapped in a bad situation or a negative situation, or do you want to make a better life and a better situation for yourself? And that's one of the bigger decisions that you do make when you're at 16, 17, 18, is what kind of life do I want for myself now that I am an official adult? Where do I want to go with my life, and how do I want to pursue things? And really, your world is your oyster right now, because you can go and do absolutely anything that you want to, something that people like me and Ray, we can't just say, okay, well, we're going to give up what we do right now, and we're going to go, and we're going to leave, and we're never coming back. We just can't do that. But when you're right out of high school, you had that opportunity to say, I'm going to go away to school in Florida, and I'm not coming back for 4 years, and I'm going to enjoy myself. If I decide I want to live here forever, I'm going to.
Mhm.
Exactly. And just remember, no matter what career you choose or what path you choose, it's no longer about what you know. You can learn everything in that trade, and it doesn't mean shit if you don't know anybody. So whatever trade you decide to go to or whatever, go to some place where you meet other people that are in that field. Because if you don't, and you're just trying to do resumes and trying to get your foot in the door, you're going to be fucked. Because ain't nobody going to care. They'll hire somebody that has less experience than you, but because they're closer with 9 out of 10 times before they hire you. That's the reality. A lot of people don't want to.
Always have that one teacher in high school and that one professor in college who knows you and knows what you're really capable of, to always be like your cheerleader, because I can't tell you how many times I've gone back to one of my professors for a recommendation for grad school or whatever I wanted to try at that moment, and it was such a valuable thing because I knew somebody who had influence, who was able to help me get to where I want to go. So always nurture these relationships with people and let people get to know who you are, because the more they get to know who you are, the more they can understand that you have the potential to do great things. It's just if you choose to do them or not.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. And, if you don't decide to go the college route and you decide to go like a trade school route or whatever, which a lot of them are scams, before you go into any deal, always make sure you study and look on the internet, for reviews on these companies or whatever. Because I went to computer school, was guaranteed a job, came out, and the best kind of job I could get was like tech support. It's absolute bullshit, man. And, like I said, it's about who you know. And if you don't know anybody or don't know a way to know somebody, you could always jump on the internet and go on places like meetup.com and look for people in your field. Or there's many other sites out there that will help you, network with people in your field. Because if you don't network with people in your field, you're really like a duck out of water. I apologize, a sitting duck. You're just hoping that something will come your way and working your ass off to try to get there, and it turns out you get fucked in the end. And I just don't want to see that to happen to you or any other young person.
Or you buy a box of Lucky Charms for $3.29 at the store, and then you eat all the Lucky Charms and you forget to take your Minion out.
You and that fucking Minion. If I had seen that Minion, I would throw it against the wall.
You see how he treats me? Do you see this, Ryan? This is the treatment I get just because I want my little Minion. Now, everybody has seen Despicable Me. Everybody knows that Minions are awesome.
Yes, but I have the backstory of listening to Claptrap call me a fucking Minion over and over again. It's not good.
Okay, I don't want to hear about this STD that you got at Jersey Shore anymore. I'm kind of tired of it. I was kind of talking about my Minion.
Did you get your Minion from the Cracker Jack box?
It was from a Lucky Charms box, and now they have 6 different kinds of moons, okay?
Remember when you used to be able to get, like, Bazooka Joe bubble gum, and it used to come with the comic and shit?
And the comic never made any sense. It was like, hey, Joe, what do you know? And you're like, wow, I just spent 25 cents to get gum that's going to taste good for 5 minutes and a comic that is ridiculous.
But you know what? It still was the thought of, that's awesome. I get gum and a fucking comic. I guess it's just a guy.
Bubble tape. Bubble tape was the best. Bubble tape to me was like God's gift. It was like you could just eat it and eat it and eat it, and then it turned to mush in your mouth and you wanted to puke. But it was so fun. You were like, look, bubble tape. And it always came with a decorative wrapper or fruit stripe gum. That was probably the worst gum ever invented because every flavor tasted exactly the same and it did not last very long. I don't care what that damn zebra said to me.
But you know what? Just like we disagree with the, bazooka bubble gum and whatnot, it's kind of like, people have different opinions and genders have different opinions. Like, you all had your Cabbage Patch Kids, like, cards, and we had a garbage pail. Same thing.
Guys are gross. They're cooties. So, Ryan, do you have a girlfriend? Ryan, do you have a girlfriend currently, or are you just playing the field?
No, I got a girlfriend.
And what kind of, is it a fun relationship? Do you guys have fun together? Are you guys, just being free and getting ready to enjoy the summer?
Yeah, pretty much.
See, that's good. That's the way to be at 16, 17, 18. When you hit 29, just get ready for the midlife crisis and the psychiatrist bills.
You and that midlife crisis. There ain't no midlife crisis.
She told me I was having a midlife crisis, and she
she needs her head examined. How about that? I'm going to go in there and be like, okay, you told Mandy that she's in a midlife crisis. I'm going to tell you that you need your head examined. Now you pay me.
I really am, because, I really am having a midlife crisis. It's really bad.
You just are part of the road where you just don't know which direction to go. It's like you're hitting that fork and shit.
Fork, fuck, whatever. It's somewhere in the middle, and I'm just I'm in this world where I have all these options. That's the thing about life, Brian. There are so many options. There are so many things that can be done, and picking one, you don't have to just pick one. I'm going to tell you that. That's the one great thing. You don't have to just pick one. You can pick 17 of them if you want to. The sad thing is that when you pick 17 different things that you do, people think that you are unstable as opposed to eclectic.
Mhm.
Yeah, they think that you're not capable of doing a one career because somebody has better, a work experience or whatever. But ultimately, different things actually make you a better person and actually help you get through life better and achieve more, in my opinion. I have a background in, technical as well as sales, as well as, talking to people and just a lot of different things that I wouldn't trade any of them for the world. I lucked out where I was able to literally test video games for 3 years of my life when I wasn't doing tech support calls. So I guess the degree did help somewhat. I mean, how many people can say that they got the beta test, games and got the, right things on games? Which beta testing sounds fun, and then you start beta testing and you have to do big old documentaries on the little area you hit. Like, okay, I made Mario jump, he hit a wall, and then he froze. Sounds like so much fun, huh?
Hey, I watch TV for a living and get paid to do it, and I'm telling you, it can be fun, and other times, as we were talking about earlier, I've had to watch The Voice this entire season, and the person I wanted to win did not win, and at the end of the day, it was like, wow, I just wasted, 3 months of my life. But, a lot of people are envious that I get to watch TV and get paid for it.
Yeah, a lot of people were jealous I got to play video games and test video games, and got paid.
But then they also think you're a loser because they're like, hey, you want to go out tonight? You're like, well, I can't because I have to work. Well, what do you have to do? I have to watch TV. You have to watch TV? That's not work. That's fun. I'm like, oh, really? You sit here and you write down every fucking detail that just happened in this past 60 minutes, and then you come talk to me.
I hear you. It's just like what I was stating, with beta testing. People think that's fun until you start doing it and you got to do a documentary on it and all the technical writing of it. And it's like, most of the time you're bored out of your mind because it's like, oh, well, I got to really go play a game and write that I hit a wall. I got to write that I jumped over this block or, whatever game I was playing. So, I mean, it's crazy.
Mhm.
But with that being said, I think I'm about tired. It's like 1:24. They will shut us off at 1:30. I know that for a fact. So Ryan, it was nice of you to join us on Teal Time Radio. We really hope that you come back. We're on basically every night at freaking 11 o'clock during the week anyway.
All right.
And Friday night we are interviewing Brittany Bouchard, which should be really nice.
And there will be an outline about her up probably tomorrow. So if you go to tealtimeradio.com, you'll get to see a little bit more about her, and it'll prep you for the interview. So if you end up thinking of a question that you have for her, you're more than welcome to call in and ask her or let us know or leave a comment underneath the article so that we can ask her for on your behalf. So it's really cool. It's
exactly.
Really cool.
If you enjoy yourself on a show, be sure to tell your friends and whoever you want about us. I mean, we're just really cool people.
All right, well, I got to get to bed. I got a big test tomorrow for school.
Well, good luck on your test and good luck in school.
All right, thank you.
I hope you pass, man. Take care.
Thanks. All right, I will. Bye.
That was cool that he, joined us and everything, and that was really kick-ass.
We seem to have lost our other co-host.
Yeah, well, the other co-host had to call it early night. Sprained the ankle, which I felt bad. I wanted to go up and, ask her how she's feeling and all that, but at the same time, when you have a job to do, you got to do the job. So. Well,
we've done our job tonight for 2 hours and 26 minutes, and I think that is sufficient, and I think that everybody has pretty much learned out there that we're just regular people making a living, doing what we do. And so everybody, feel free to call us whenever you want to. Call into the show, call to talk to us, whatever you want to do. Email us. We're here, and we're here every night, so we're not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah. There's at least a 5-year plan into the mix. I mean, at least on my end. To be probably be nationally known by that time. But anyway, if there's any business owners out there, small business, mom and pop joints, whatever, that would like us to, give a shout out on the air for you, because we do have such a wide range of audience, especially if you have like an internet business, that would be absolutely fantastic. And maybe we'll charge like shoot us an email, tealtimeradio@gmail.com. Maybe we can work out a deal, small fee, and we'll turn around and, at least once an hour, shout out to your business. It's just an idea, just throwing it out there.
And if you want us to try something, I'm totally like a girly girl, so if you want me to watch your movie or try your nail polish or your hair products or whatever, let us know, because we will try things.
Exactly. All right, till next time, this is C.G. Jags, also known as Ray. The beautiful Miss Chrissy is upstairs, probably sleeping, but she says bye as well. And you're on, Princess Mandy.
Yes, this is Crazy Princess Mandy. I hope everybody has a great and safe evening and a happy morning. And don't forget to watch the Hot in Cleveland live episode tomorrow night on TV Land at 10 p.m. and watch that repo show, the South Beach Towing at night. South Beach something or other at 9:30 on True TV, just to make CT Jags happy, because that's what we do in our lives. And other than that, that's our mission. Other than that, thank you, Ryan, for calling in. We really had a great time talking to you. We can't wait to read your email, and we will talk to you very soon.
All right. Y'all take care. On behalf of Teal Time Radio, y'all have a wonderful evening. Take care.
Have a great night. Thanks. Bye.